Now before we jump into this, I want to just say, I am not a mobile gamer. I used to use my phone to emulate retro games, but phones over time have gotten more uncomfortable to hold and play games on. So when I do play games on my phone, it's very important to me that I can use a controller. Most games that I play on mobile, aside from a few, I use a DualShock 4 to play. But let's be honest, most mobile games are shallow, cash farm games to waste your time. Most mobile game developers aren't out to make a deep gaming experience, and honestly, yeah, I get it. Mobile gaming is looked at to be quick bites of gameplay to pass time while you're out and about, maybe in a waiting room waiting for your appointment, or maybe on the bus. But most people, if they want a bigger or deeper handheld experience, they think they need to go get a Nintendo Switch or a PS Vita. But honestly, I feel like that's selling mobile gaming short. I feel like mobile games can have deeper experiences on them. Mobile phones are so powerful these days, you can play almost AAA quality games. Look at Call of Duty Mobile. It looks amazing and plays great as well. Also, seeing companies porting their retro games over to mobile is amazing as well. It shows that there's a demand for bigger and deeper experiences. It doesn't have to be held to the idea and expectation of mobile games. Why not games that you just so happen to play on mobile? That's why I'm a huge supporter for the idea of Nvidia GeForce Now, and had hoped Stadia would do better, and want to see Xbox Game Pass work great on mobile devices. I love seeing new and innovative ways to play games. Change the way we experience games. I think that's why Nintendo Switch is so successful. It broke the mold. It's a 2-in-1 console you can take on the bus with you or dock it at your TV at home. Long tangent aside, that brings me to the topic of this video. Grimvalor. Now yeah, it's not a super demanding game to play on mobile, but it's everything I just mentioned. It's not just a mobile game, it's a game that you just so happen to play on mobile. Hell, it even got a port to Nintendo Switch. It in no way feels like a mobile game. Now this isn't a full in-depth review. I have only played most of Act 1, but I really wanted to make this video anyway. Plus I'm working on a much bigger review at the moment that's kinda eating up my gaming time. But what is Grimvalor? It's a semi-Souls-like metroidvania side-scroller. It's not free to play, but it's free to download. You can play the first act for free. And the first act is quite long. I've dropped quite a bit of time into it, and I still haven't finished the first act yet. There's dozens of areas to explore, and this game heavily rewards exploration to find secrets. Each area has a completion meter to tell you if you fully explored the area and found everything. There's a set amount of chests and loot piles in each area. Inside chests you can sometimes find weapons, but usually you will find either what looks like shards of glass, to which is used for upgrading weapons, or soul shards that are used to upgrade your trinkets and Estus flasks, mending flasks, to which is unapologetically just an Estus flask in Dark Souls. It refills every time you rest or die. It has a limited amount of uses and fills a set amount of life. As you upgrade it, it will refill more health. Like I mentioned, you can rest at these tombstone looking things to refill your life and flask, but in return, just like most Souls-like games, all the enemies respawn, so it's up to you to decide if it's worth resting or not. And every area has a few resting stones, and when you die, you respawn at the last stone you rested at, again, just like most Souls-likes. Basically, look at it like a checkpoint. The level design in this game is clearly heavily influenced by Castlevania games, with the way that everything is super interconnected. Even just like Bloodborne and Dark Souls, the interconnectivity is very prominent. Areas weaving in and out of each other. Areas being locked off until you either do something in another area or pick up a key for a door, to which is another thing that drives you to explore. You will find a door but won't know how to open it, so you start looking around for areas you haven't found yet, or going back through areas you've already been to, and start doing a deeper comb through, seeing if there's anything you might have missed along the way. I love this type of design because it makes you feel good when you figure out the way forward. Like in this one area, I found a floor. It looked cracked and decayed, and it seemed like there was something below it, but thought maybe it was nothing, so I moved on and kept playing. Then a little while later, I acquired an ability that enabled me to do a downward slam to break floors. Immediately, a light bulb went off, and I went back to that spot and tried it, and sure enough, there was a few enemies in a chest there. It felt so good. However, the level design isn't all great, because it can also be easy to get lost and tread over the same area a few times, because a lot of what I've played so far can kind of look very similar, and the map is helpful to know the direction to a different area, but it only tells you what area you're in instead of showing you an actual map of the area like Castlevania and Metroid games. But seeing it's clearly very inspired by Souls games, it's probably wanting you to explore and learn the layout without a map, just like From Software games, to which, fine, yeah, but again, so much looks so similar. I think a map would have helped, but I understand the idea of not having it, and again, it's not like there's no map, just a limited map. I really like the art design in the setting, but I'm a sucker for dark medieval settings, but I've looked up gameplay of later game areas, and again, it looks like the areas are very repetitive. This game has a decent amount of RPG elements. I don't want to call it deep RPG, and I don't want to call it a light RPG, but it's deep enough. They're serviceable. Over time, you collect what the game calls soul shards. You kill enemies or collect from loot piles and discover chests to get souls. And the souls fill up a meter at the resting stone, and when it fills up, you level up and get skill points to level up 4 different attributes to help round out your build the way you want. There's Vigor that levels up your health and stun resistance. Savagery increases weapon damage and your ability to stun enemies. Mastery increases attack speed and critical chance. Focus increases energy gained from soul shards and items, and it also gives you more trinket slots. Kind of like attunement in Dark Souls. There's a weapon and a gear system. You can have 2 weapons equipped, a heavy weapon and then your light weapon. You can find and upgrade your weapons. You upgrade your weapons at the smelter in the Nexus. There's an armor slot that I've yet to use, but I'm sure it works just like everything else. Then there's the trinkets. Like we said earlier, the more you upgrade focus, the more trinkets you can carry. But that's basically it. It's deep enough where it feels rewarding and useful, and all upgrades do feel substantial and important. It doesn't feel tacked on, it feels thought out and actually integrated into the game. And again, showing that mobile games can have a deep and rich experience on mobile. It doesn't have to be a small cash grab. I mean, this game proves that 100%, and on top of it, combat and gameplay is top notch. The gameplay is a mixture of Castlevania Symphony of the Night and Bloodborne. It is thoughtful combat. You have a light attack, a heavy attack, a special attack, and a dodge button. There's no stamina meter. You don't want to just button mash. When an enemy's ready to attack, they'll flash red for you to dodge, and it puts you into an invincible state for a moment while you complete your dodge. But sometimes things can feel a bit cramped and cheap. There's encounters where they just don't give you enough space to maneuver. Like, for example, in a small space, have like 2 little enemies, a big enemy, then like 2 fireball throwing jerks, and you get super overwhelmed, and it ends up feeling like a cheap death. But those moments are far between. Usually the game feels very fair and balanced and rewarding. I love the combat, and yes, I think it's worthy of its Souls-like title. And boss battles, they're top notch from what I've experienced. They have well telegraphed attacks, great arenas, and great music. But I have one huge complaint. I absolutely think the being hunted mechanic is garbage and unfair. There was one point where I was being hunted by a floating night-like enemy, and it was so fast and could just zoom to my location in a fraction of a second. It felt impossible to dodge. It made things just not fun. It was just annoying and unnecessarily frustrating. So aside from some repetitive level design and a few combat hiccups and unfair hunters, this game is solid. It shines among one of the best mobile games I've ever played. It breaks the mold of what phone games can be, and it's a worthy entry into the Souls-like genre. I will for sure be paying for the full version and be playing through the whole game because I absolutely love this game. I think y'all should give it a try. I mean, hell, it's free to try and you get a lot of content to sink your teeth into for free. By the time you finish Act 1, you'll definitely know if you enjoy the game or not. I hope more developers look at mobile phones as just another console to make amazing games on. Maybe get less time sink, shallow cash grabs. We don't need more Candy Crush or Clash of Clans type games. Phones are more capable than that, and we should really use it to our advantage. But yeah, I know this is a shorter video, and it's kind of a just straight to the point review. I really wanted to talk about this game. I really like it. I think it's an awesome, solid, Souls-like, Castlevania-like game. I definitely plan on playing the whole thing. I hope you guys are okay with the fact that I only played the first act to make this review. I felt like I had enough information to make this review, but this is more of me trying to make you guys aware of this game, because I really think this game deserves more attention. I don't really see many people talking about it. It is such a cool game. But hey, if you're new here, I do game-related content, gaming news, gaming rants, game reviews, and if any of that interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tickle that bell because it is lonely. And if you don't, you won't get notified for my videos. And comment down below anything you want me to talk about. If you're wondering what my next review is, it's a surprise. Your hint is, it was a PlayStation Plus game within the last 6 months. There's your hint. That's all from me. Peace.